So the second item that must be considered when we are dealing with the equipment issues is to do or to update the specification datasheet of the equipment to the current conditions of the equipment, or eventually for the expected future conditions of the equipment. Because this way you will guarantee that once you get in touch with the suppliers, and we'll talk about that in the next items, you will be able to choose the correct equipment to the correct conditions. We will not buy a new equipment that can be hundreds of dollars or millions of dollars based on emails exchanging. So if we are talking about plant design, if you are a chemical process engineer that wants to do the right work in chemical process engineering and plant design, you must fill at least the process datasheet of the equipment. And there are a few differences between the process datasheet of the equipment and the specification datasheet of the equipment. When we are talking about the process datasheet of the equipment, mainly we are adding information related to the process conditions: pressure, temperature, flow, and composition of the fluid. This is the minimal required information to purchase our equipment. But that most often is not enough to guarantee the performance and the conditions of your equipment. So based on that, the mechanical engineer most often, or the equipment engineer, based on the process conditions, will define the material of the equipment, will define some tolerances of the equipment in order that the supplier have a commitment to achieve those conditions. When we are talking about rotating equipment, most often they use some kind of source of energy to run, and usually is electricity. So instead of besides the chemical process engineer, besides the equipment engineer, we will have also the interface of the electrical engineer, because he or she is the best person to define information related to electricity, like motors, cables, and etc. Another engineer that can be involved in this task is the control engineer, because most often our process is automated. We have controls for the suction, for the discharge. We have some kind of trips to the machine to keep the safety of the plant and also of the machine. So it's important to the control engineer knows what kind of communication will be possible between the machine and also the supervisory of the plant, or the machine and the PLC of the plant. So as you can see, we have a multidisciplinary involvement when we are talking about the specification datasheet of the equipment. That is different from the process datasheet of the equipment, that most often is a job only of the chemical process engineer. If you are in a big company with junior, seniors, and others levels of engineers, and you are in the lower position, your process datasheet will be reviewed by a senior engineer. If you are the only one, everyone will trust you that you are doing the correct job, and the other discipline will do their job based on yours.